15 Most Valuable Things You Should Know by 30. As you approach 30, you'll have plenty of opportunities to reflect on your life and figure out what you've learned so far. You might even feel like you're not really there yet, or that you don't know nearly as much you should at this point in your life. To help bring clarity on these thoughts for this video, we are going to discuss some of the most valuable things anyone should figure out by the time they hit 30. Number 1. You may have your best years ahead of you. It's sad when some people become stuck in the past and just wish they were young and carefree as they once were. The point is that you no longer needed 3 days to recover after a night out. You're still a young person after all. You still have a lot of years ahead of you. Since most people today live to age 70 and older, a modern person is living an active and quality life until they reach the age of 30. Actually, the truth is that you're living better than even generations of royalty did. Look it up if you don't believe us. Let's not forget that we have previously discussed the definition of a time billionaire, or someone who has more than a billion seconds left to live. In other words, if you have 31 good years ahead of you, you can plan for the long term. They do not fully appreciate what they can accomplish in 10 years, so imagine 30 years. Number 2. What drives you? It can be difficult to identify your motivation. When you grow up, you can convince a child to finish their homework with a promise of a playdate. However, adults usually don't like their taxes, unless it's the IRS, in which case the only thing they might want to be worried about is getting a penalty. You'll find it harder to be motivated the older you get, because there's no one to entice you with a carrot anymore. If you wait for motivation to come from the outside, you'll be waiting for a long time. But when you look for reasons to wake up in the morning, the motivation comes to you. Number 3. What are your expectations for yourself? By the time you reach your 30th birthday, you should have a better idea of what you're capable of. If you want to know your full potential, you need to understand yourself. Have you considered what your limitations are? How long can you maintain focus? People are capable of learning more than they give themselves credit for. Around the age of 30, you should start trusting in yourself more. 4. You are the only one responsible. To be clear, by the time you're 30, you need to know that where you are is because of the decisions you made. Nobody else makes them for you. Most of the time, you're in charge of the majority of the things that impact your life. Everything you've done so far, good or bad. As for you, I'll present a thought experiment to enlighten you. To continue with the monkey example, monkeys can eventually produce Shakespeare's text with enough time and work. We too can improve our lifestyle and surroundings by taking certain actions. And given the fact that you don't have all the time in the world and you can't afford to hire a group of monkeys. Number 5. What should I do to continue learning? One of the most valuable things you need to know before you turn 30 is that learning is an ongoing progress. If you don't continue to grow and evolve in school, then you won't continue to be competitive in the workforce. Building your life off of the information you have already learned is a dangerous game. And as it has never been easier in the entire history of humanity to keep on learning, you can't afford to stay current. One of the best investments is educating yourself, and it never ceases. Number 6. You've spent most of your time with your parents already. By the time you're in your 30s, if you still have good relationship with your parents, you've already spent the majority of your life with them. It may be difficult for some people to comprehend this. When you were a kid, you always saw your parents the moment you got home. But now, you don't see them very often. You only see them during events like family holidays. It will remain this way unless you put forth of an effort to change it. This is true for friendships too. Most of your time is consumed with your living on a day-to-day basis. You can't let living happen without carving out time with your loved ones. Perhaps you had a good old relationship that faded away simply because you never bumped into each other anymore. Number 7. Be comfortable with making sacrifices. The older you get, the more sacrifices you'll need to make. Every decision to do something is a decision not to do something else. Ignorance of these sacrifices will force you to opt for the easier option. You'll get a little now instead of a lot later. Choosing to be comfortable with sacrifice means to be fully aware of what you're giving up and what you're getting in return. Number 8. How to make better mistakes. you will inevitably get something wrong, and you will never know the future. And there's no complete manual guiding you every step of the way. What's important is to understand how to make better mistakes. You do that by making sure that no matter what choices you make, you can still play the game if it doesn't work out. Investing your entire life savings into a single thing and that investment failing to turn a profit may be an important lesson. The difficulty, of course, is if you no longer have the funds available to play. Nevertheless, it is true that you have an infinite number of chances to try your luck, as long as you're willing to invest again. Number 9. How to take care of others. For example, imagine for a second that you are the only human left on Earth, and everything is taken care by robots. You might think that you will have a wonderful time doing anything there is to be done in the world, but in reality, you will probably go insane in less than a week. In fact, it doesn't matter how antisocial or introverted you think you are. You need good people around you. Sharing the best moments in life with others is what they're all about. It's human nature to need to belong to a group, and that's done by becoming a caring individual, learning how to be a great friend, a great teacher, a great parent, and so on. Number 10. How to find balance. The happiest people in life are fortunate to have wealth and happiness in good measure. They have enough of a good life that they can take care of themselves and their loved ones, and enjoy the time they spend doing what they love. More often than not, making money and feeling happy are two different things. No matter how well-intentioned you are about your financial situation, it's crucial to maintain a sense of balance. It's going to be necessary to sometimes forsake your balance a bit to really work hard, but you'll never ignore it completely. Your goal is to end up with the right people in your life. Once you have them, you don't need money or objects because these people will give you all the happiness you need. Number 11. What makes you unique? One of the best strengths people can have is their ability to use their past experiences and life events they've been through to best suit their goals and get what they want in life. And it's impossible for two people to experience the same life events at the same time. This means that each one of you has a different perspective on life. How well you leverage that will determine how well you'll do in life. You should be spending time finding out what you're uniquely good at, and if you don't know already, try to figure out what makes you feel the most comfortable. What are the things that are glaringly obvious to you but confusing to others? Number 12. How do you keep growing? Many scientists are still in debate about whether the brain stops developing at a certain age. But one thing is certain, we've met people in their 40s who are still very involved in their own growth, just as much people in their 30s or 20s. In order to appreciate their last days of life, they find ways to still learn about new things, meet new people, and explore new technologies. These are the people who really live. Number 13. How to keep up. Year after year, the gap between the rich and the poor grows, and the middle class is gradually disappearing. Regardless of how you feel about this, don't forget to take care of yourself. And on the other hand, an increasing number of people don't believe that hard work is necessary for financial security. And you know what? They're not wrong. For example, because smart work is more accessible and barriers of entry are dropping, it is starting to affect the whole industries. For example, Kabi Lame started posting TikTok videos and now he's the face of Hugo Boss. For instance, you could easily look at this and ask, how is that fair? The point is that if you live in your own little bubble, you won't understand anything in the world. If you don't understand what's happening in the world and why, you'll feel befuddled when other people take steps to secure their future in the ways that you cannot. One can purchase Apple stocks from their phone while sitting on the toilet. The point is, there are a variety of different baskets for you to place your eggs in, and they're right at your fingertips. So watch what's happening in the world. Number 14. How to disconnect. Along with thinking about how to be social more, you need to figure out how to take a break. Some people are starting to burn out or not distinguish reality from imagination. 60% of our days are spent sitting in chairs looking at screens. Balance can help prevent people from burning out. So it's essential to find time to get away. Unplugging after periods of strain gives you time to charge and enjoy life. And when we say a sprint, we mean 1 to 3 months. Constantly striving to make your life interesting, means that you'll cycle between moments of focus and relaxation. And number 15, how far have you come? One of the only good reasons to think about the past is to see how far you've come. That way, you can stay grounded in the present and maintain an optimistic outlook for the future. When looking back on your life, it's good to see how far you've come despite the struggles and hard times you've faced. It's also great to see how you evolved as a person, so make your dreams a reality. So with that in mind, I'll share a bonus with you. You should now have had the opportunity to experiment with your life. No doubt that you have had different jobs and lived in different places. But now, it's time to start understanding what makes a fulfilling life. It's necessary to anchor yourself in reality and stay long enough for something challenging and achievable. First, start to think about what a perfect life might look like for you. Where would you like to live? What kind of career are you hoping to pursue? Surprise yourself by realizing that your idea of the perfect life is completely different than the one you actually envision. 30 years of life experience means you have an idea of what your perfect day looks like. Picturing your goal in your mind, take steps to meet it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and comment.